welcome to our weekly podcast, Black Sheep Knitting. And I want to thank people who subscribe and who like us. And if you're a first time watcher, please subscribe and give us a thumbs up. That helps us. We try to impart some of our knitting knowledge to you and to help to make you a better knitter, which we all want to be better knitters. And I guess if there's one thing I can say to you, the best way to become a better knitter is to knit a little bit every day. You know, don't put your knitting down, and I say that all the time, for, weeks at a time. Do a little bit. You can find 10 minutes in your day, and 10 minutes can be 2 rows or a whole row on a sweater or something. So it's not a bad idea. I hope everybody had those of you who celebrate Christmas, I hope you had a good Christmas. And what else do people celebrate? There was Hanukkah earlier in the month, and Kwanzaa, and whatever, excuse me, everybody celebrates. I hope you had a great time with family and friends. And then we have New Year's coming this weekend, but everybody was probably busy, and maybe still busy, making gifts for people. So what I'd like to say is, I think now it's time for a little selfish knitting. And I'm going to show some things today. But I wanted just a couple little things that I thought were kind of good things that I ran across. Some people are really tight knitters. And one thing I ran across today that I thought was good advice. And it says to tension your yarn while the needles are crossed. So by that I mean when you're trying to tighten the yarn, I'll show you something that I'm knitting. Instead of going like this and tightening your yarn here, which makes it too tight, if you tighten the yarn here, pull on it here, and then move your yarn over, you'll get a better gauge and you won't get such tight stitches. So you don't want to pull after the stitch has moved from the left to the right. You don't want to pull tight then. The time to do it is when it's on the needle here, and then let go. So you don't want to do this. And some people get in the habit of doing that. And especially if you're binding off, you can get in the habit, and that makes your bind off too tight. And I've talked about that before. The other little thing that I wanted to talk about was when you're doing ribbing, to do a twisted rib, which is a little bit more decorative rib. This is on a sweater that I'm doing. This sweater is called Timber, and I've shown it before, I believe, but I've put, this is Isair Aran tweed, I believe, and I'm holding it with an Isair mohair, mostly because I wanted it a little bit softer, and some of these tweedy yarns can be a little rough, although this I'm going to wear probably as a jacket. But what I wanted to point out was how a twisted rib can be really pretty, and by that I mean on the right side you're knitting into the back of the knit stitches. On the back side you're purling into the back of the stitch of the purl stitches. You're purling into the back of the purl stitches. Obviously if it's a purl stitch, you're purling. But anyway, it makes the rib kind of stand out, and it's a little different from although this is also a twisted rib here. So you get to see, it just has a nice look to it, I think. So if you're looking for something different to do, the gauge shouldn't change much when you're doing it. I don't believe, but you can experiment with that. So it's kind of a fun thing. I wanted to show you, so we're on to selfish knitting. So we had a sample made, and I think I showed this, that the artist shawl that we were going to make it in, and our amazing knitter oops, Ellen knit this magnificent shawl. It's quite big, so I can't really show it that well, but you can see it's quite large, and it's knit in a sport weight, and because some of it's stranded, it's almost double the thickness. So this would be a fantastic thing to throw around you when you're getting in your car, or just going out briefly when it's not freezing cold. Or the way I like to wear them sometimes is over your coat, which makes you even warmer. So this, I recommend this. There's nothing hard about it. It's just some color work and a little bit of color work, and then just some garter and a little bit of a pattern stitch. So the yarn that we made it in, and I love this yarn, is called Rowan Baby Cash Soft. And I've shown this before, and the did we put the labels over? Yeah, over what it was. But I think that was really dumb. Sorry. But I think it's a merino with like maybe 10% cashmere, and there's some acrylic in it. But it's really nice. It's super wash. You can, I believe. Oh, here it is. Sorry. Wool, acrylic, and 10% cashmere. So these are the colors that I used. You can see. And I thought these colors went together really well. So this is a good project, and Ellen knit this in about a week or week and a half, although she knits all the time. But it's a quick knit, I think. I wanted to show another thing I did with this same yarn, but I used those colors, but added this little gold. But this is just a garter stitch baby blanket. And if you want an easy, really pretty blanket, and I don't think this screams boy or girl. I think you could do either one. You could leave this color out if you were so inclined. And this is just cast on, I don't know how many stitches, and just knit until the skein is used up, and then go to the next one. So that's a fun knit. But here's a fantastic selfish knit, which is, we've shown this before, but I have kits. This is the Traveler Shawl, which you've seen from Andrea Mallory. And the kits that we have, and we have more of this yarn in stock, and we can make up kits for you, but ones that we have, this one is Pop Click, calls for 5 skeins of spin cycle. We do have other yarns that you could use, but again, if somebody gave you a gift certificate, why not? And we also have, so anyway, it's a beautiful shawl that goes in 2 directions, and it's got this nice ribbing. So the other one we have is Nostalgia, if you like the really rich colors. And we have Water Witch, which this is a new one for us. And if you're familiar with, this is of course Spin Cycle dyed in the wool. If you're familiar with their yarns, they change quite a bit. So for a, I'm sorry, I have a dry throat tonight. For a pattern like this, doesn't matter if it changes. You'll have the colors change a little bit because the skeins are not consistent, the colors. Another project that I thought was fun, this is a vest, and everybody's doing vests these days, and this is a really pretty one, I thought, from Barocco. And it's called, I don't know if you pronounce it Morel or Morel, it's M-O-R-E-L, and it's made with Barocco's yarn called Talara. We've shown this before. What I love about this is it's the squishiest, spongiest yarn you'll ever see. And a part of it is because it's this chainette construction. And I don't know, it looks like it's knitted, I guess is the best way to describe it. And it's 100% baby llama, which is just yummy. So it comes in a lot of colors. It's not an expensive yarn, and it has 132 yards, and it's a worsted weight. So these are some of the colors, and I would give you names, but they have no names, they just have numbers. So here are some of the colors, and here are some more. You know, and all of these, that the vest would be really pretty in any one of these. This is the color that it's made in. And I thought these also might be fun for some kind of color work project, because there's so many beautiful colors that go together. Like, I love these grays and white. They'd also make a really beautiful hat, because it's light, spongy, and unbelievably warm. And these chainette construction yarns, they trap yarn in them, you know, because they're loosely yarn. You can tell I haven't recovered from Christmas, sorry. They trap air in them, and you know, the warmth from your head goes into it, and it keeps you warm.
Ooh, it is squishy. Ooh, it's very
Isn't it squishy? Yeah. One thing I wanted to show you that is new in this shop, or going to be in the shop, and we haven't had magazines for a long time, and of course I decided to get Pom Pom just as they were going out of business. However, I have the latest issue, and I think there's one more before they do, and they just have, I've always liked Pom Pom, and for a while I didn't want to have magazines because I didn't think they were selling, but they have beautiful patterns in them. I was going to show you a couple. I thought this hat was just very cool, with two colors. It's called Celadon. And here's a skirt, which I thought was kind of fun. I'm making a skirt. I've shown it before, but I haven't, of course, finished it. And there was one other, well, this is another sweater that I thought was really pretty. Anyway, these are going to be on sale in the shop, so you might want to get one. This is also the one that's on the front, is a really pretty sweater. So you might want to get these, because this is going to be the end. They're not going to publish them anymore, which is too bad. The other thing, the last thing I wanted to talk about are the hat workshops. We have two workshops. The Bridewell, which starts January 3rd, which is next week. It's a 2-session class, so it's January 3rd and January 17th. There's some spaces left in it. It's on a Wednesday afternoon from 3:30 to 5:30 with the incredibly talented and thorough teacher, Catherine. And Catherine, I can tell you, prepares and prepares and prepares some more, unlike me. I tend to fly by the seat of my pants all the time, but Catherine is well prepared and does several samples. So this is the Bridewell hat, and it's fun, and it's got I think this is a Latvian braid on it, so you'll learn how to do that, and the color work, and she's got some other tricks, I think, up her sleeve. So some of the yarns we thought would work well these are worsted weights. So I pulled some sueño. So I liked this, and I liked this with it, or this blue and this gray, or this blue and this white. So you can choose. We have lots of sueño to choose from. And we also pulled some Rios. So this is one of my favorites, Reflecting Pool, and I think this is Gris. So I thought those were pretty together. And then I'm loving this one. This is Valentina and Pearl. But you can see how these all go. There's lots to choose from, and they all go pretty well together. This I thought was also very pretty. So there's still room in the class. We've had people come in who don't really need a class. And they said, oh yeah, we love that hat, we want to do it. So I think if you're interested, you could come in and do it or join the class. As I said, there's still some spaces. The other workshop that we have that's going to be another hat with Catherine is called Between the Lines. And that's a really cool, fun hat with lots to learn. And that one is January 24th. Again, it's a Wednesday, and it's 3:30 to 5:30, and it's again a 2 session, so it's January 24th and February 7th. So I had some sample colors that we think that it's a 4-color workshop, but one of the yarns that we had that's really, I think is nice, is Lannis Light. So we picked some colors in the Lannis Light, but we have a lot of colors, and it's a beautiful yarn. It's a little woolly, but I think it'd be great as a hat and for color work. And then we picked out some, so we had Sueño, I showed you the Sueño worsted, but we also have Sueño Sport. And this is, just an amazing yarn for color work. So we picked out these colors, which are really, I think, very pretty together. You could stripe it because it has stripes and then color work at the bottom. And you could do any one of these as the stripe and any one of these as the color for the color work. And then we picked out another group that I thought was kind of fun. The pinks, and this is plum, and what is this? Dusty rose and ballet slipper and white. So I think they're really, a really pretty combination. Anyway, if you're interested in those, and if you're interested in the workshop, please call, or I think you can do it online. It's online, so you can sign up online, and I think that's it, except for what I'm wearing. I am wearing Autumn Square, which I think I've worn before on this podcast. And I did it with I can't remember if it's a DK or worsted weight. I think it's a DK. And so what I did was put hedgehog sock with Issei or mohair. Again, I love doing that. It gives it a little, because I don't necessarily like making sweaters in fingering weight yarn. Although I just finished one, but you can be on a size 2 or 3 needle, and it can get painful when you get down to or you're trying to get up to the color work at the top or whichever.
Just where are you wearing it?
So,
what season is it for?
Well, the thing about fingering weight, Robin said, what season is it for? The thing about fingering weight yarns in, like merinos in wools, you can wear them in the summer. And you can I've got some short sleeve ones, and I've worn them here in the shop. They're great, or even a long sleeve is great in an air-conditioned office or something, so you might want that. But anyway, I held this with mohair to get a bigger gauge and for the softness, and I love the sort of loft that you get. It's very fun. Anyway, I don't think I have any other pearls of wisdom for you. But I would like to say Happy New Year. I hope everybody has some fun New Year's plans. I plan on seeing my grandchildren, so I think that'll be an awful lot of fun for me. But I hope you all get some good time in to knit, and that you have some time off this week to enjoy family and friends, and of course knitting. So we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.